balls was hot, boys. Let's go smash the like button. Tell me how you're feeling on this beautiful Monday afternoon. Feeling good. We're vibing. Humming in the chat already.
Hey.
Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports here on this beautiful Monday afternoon. I'd be lying to you if I told you we got a good show. We have a fantastic show for you in store, and I don't want to undersell it, but it's going to be an absolute banger, boys and girls. Today's show is powered by BetUS. Pumped to partner with them all season long. We had a presser today. Got some news on some injury updates. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how the scrimmage went from Billy's perspective. We get a little bit of data points, some tackling, how that went. Still no more news on the offensive line. We'll get into that. And then, of course, Champs Corner. One of the top segments of the entire program we have here at High Top. This guy is an assassin when it comes to breaking down the film. All right, we're going to be breaking down highlight clips. He's sending me breakdown clips. I goes, here's what I'm seeing. I go, I didn't expect any breakdown today because we didn't have much film. He goes, I got what I need. Buckle in, let's go, and he suited up. We're going to roll the intro of Champs Corner, and we're going to get into it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, baby, yeah. That's my jam, Shelton. That's my song right there, man.
I gotta get you fired up.
That,
it's the walkout song, baby. You can't even hear me.
You can't even hear me. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, I'm fired up. I can hear you, baby.
Let's go, man. How you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm ready. Ready to play. Couple days away. You know, got to get the shoulder pads warmed up.
Listen, I always call Billy. I think you got a COVID year left. I think a spot opened up on the nose tackle position. I think they could use you to shuffle in a couple plays.
Hey, Mr. Lions, I got you, kid. I'll hold it down till you get back, brother. Praying for you. You know what I mean? Wishing you a speedy recovery, kid. But, you know, if y'all chat, man, you got my number. Hit me up. We can make something work.
I love it. So, look, like he just said, Billy did confirm today in the press that Jamar Lions, the nose tackle backed up to Cam Jackson, will be out for the season with a broken ankle. Sad to hear. And they kind of talked about, hey, how does his loss impact the line? He goes, look, I think we got plenty of depth to fill in what he was going to do, but Lions provided more than just a backup and nose tackle. He was able to play defensive end. So there's a part of a piece that we will be missing is his versatility to play both roles and be effective in both roles. So, look, we know about the depth there. A lot of guys stepping in. He goes, Micah Boro, I believe he's a freshman from last year's class. Brian Taylor, JUCO transfer, will be stepping in.
That's my number 93.
Which one?
Yeah, he rocked the 93. Bador,
okay. All right. So we're in good hands then.
Yeah.
It's just passing it down. Passing it down. Well, so look, like I said, Stephen Harris was sending me these clips, blowing me up today before the show, breaking down some things. And look, it's interesting because I think, you know, with the scrimmage and with what we're hearing, people were in full-blown panic the last 48 hours. We got Waters tweeting about his thoughts on the offensive line, which sent everybody through a tensy, which I appreciate it, Mr. Waters, for bringing the heat off of me. Then today, Nick Marcinko tweeted out a quote from Billy's presser about the tackling numbers, which we'll get into, which sent everybody into a frizzy, tensy, whatever you want to call it. So let's take a look at some of these films. It's interesting because, one, when you really slow it down like you do, you see that it's not all ones and twos. It's a very big mixture of a lot of guys playing with everybody. That's number one. And number two, you see kind of the holes being read. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was saying, first of all, you know, Jamar Lions, prayers to you again with the injury. You went at 95. Ray McDonald actually played defensive end and inside. So you guys kind of embody the same person. And he dealt with injuries at Florida and came back stronger than ever every time that he got hurt. So, you know, rocking that number, hoping you got the same healing angels around you that he had, and wishing to see you back as soon as possible. But like Coach was saying, we got guys to fill that position. You know, Sapp is another guy who will be playing a little inside in certain situations, maybe on third downs and stuff like that, doing some stunting and stuff like that. And then Kelby Collins coming down inside. getting some work down with the big fellas too. So looking forward to seeing those guys step up. And then we got DeAndre Robinson, the young guy that can come in, more of a pass rush specialist type guy on third downs right now. So I think we're fine.
Absolutely, with the depth. So let's take a look at this film we've got here, Mr. Harris. So I don't know what clip this is. You'll know immediately what we're looking for here. But I'm gonna pass the buck
Yeah.
to you, man, with Caden Daniels getting the ball here.
Yeah, just looking at the run. That's Daniels is
Excuse me, that's ball. That's ball. My
Yeah,
ball,
yeah,
my
yeah,
fault.
yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. No, that's ball here. Just looking at the run here. This is some of the stuff Billy was talking about in the pressure, where they're saying just filling the wrong gaps on certain plays or whatever. I'm not sure what he did to get on the outside here, if it was either a screen or a toss or whatever that is. But if you go back a little bit from the beginning of the play, you can see we got two guys on the outside. You got Bridges here, and then we have what's number two?
Douglas. I think it's Douglas. CJ
Douglas. Yeah. On that play right there, you like to see Bridges put more pressure on the ball. He has Hawkins on him. So you want to see him smash Hawkins really and knock him more into the backfield and make the play either bounce outside the two, but both of these guys shouldn't be outside. So you get both of those guys outside, you can kind of see where he breaks it up the middle there and makes good yards.
Yeah, and look, we're going to play a clip later on where Billy talks about it was Caden Daniels, not Paul, but just reading the gap and busting through it with speed and just their vision on the football field.
Yeah.
Very exciting to hear about that. Just the excitement in this running back room. But this is kind of just another angle, I think, filling up the angle of that play that you were just talking about.
Yeah, and it's just about learning the run fits and being sure about where you're going to fit, because those guys are coming flowing from everywhere to help you. So just knowing where you should fit and taking that fit aggressively. I would have liked to see Bridges. You got Hawkins coming out there to block him. I'm sure we did a lot of movement to get that matchup right there. And it looked like it could have been a screen that he cut back inside, because we got, like I said, Hawkins blocking.
Oh, so that's okay. So that's Jakeem Jackson, number 2. So Bridges is in front of him on Hawkins. Jakeem Jackson, number 2, not Douglas.
Right. So you got those two guys trying to make a play on the running back. That lets you know it's kind of like a screen or something where the ball kind of got out there fast. They brought 10 in motion to come get the extra blocking. We should just be smashing him, knocking him back into the running play,
disrupting the run play.
Allowing Jackson to make the play.
And again, thinking that we've got Jakeem Jackson, it's got Jaden Ball here. You got to think it's probably make sure second and third string. It looks that's Badger there coming across for the block. I thought I was going to say Andy Jean, but I forgot he gave up his number 6. So it's a mixture. Again, it's not just straight ones and twos that we're working with there. Let's take a look at this. This is Trayon Webb, so this is probably more of the ones.
Yeah. I put this play up just to kind of look, on the pressure. Billy said he had fun sitting back there in the back, being able to watch. And if you see at the beginning of this clip, if you run it back from the top, you see Billy back there with his eyes looking at Trayon get the ball. He can see that it's green out there. Billy just kind of observing. I thought it was cool to see him in the back. Watching Trayon hit this corner. Obviously, he had a lot of green grass to run with. You can see the guys look at Lagway in the back kind of watching him. And, we always talk about Trayon's first step being different from our guy that just got hurt.
Montreal.
And so, Montreal. And so I think just watching the guys on the sideline, them getting a chance to see his speed, you can see the guy in the back, his face kind of like, ooh, nasty move. He got his face all scrunched up. But then if you go back a little bit more, you'll see like the teammates' faces watching the play. Guys are looking at all kind of, just watching them blaze down the sideline. And here we get our guy, 12.
Douglas.
What was the name? Yeah, Douglas.
Yeah.
Coming downhill, ready to make a hard play, not shying away from the contact. Really want to knock his block off, but you get Webb realizing, making a business decision and putting his foot in the ground and, making a move. But I like Douglas coming downhill, forceful, ready to wrap up, make the play if Webb was to decide to keep going, making them make those hard cutbacks. I just like the way he was running to the ball, the effort and energy, trying to get there, knowing that Webb is running full speed and then not shying away from the contact, making Webb make that decision. So.
For sure. And look, I mean, we were talking before the show. You kind of love to see Douglas go after it here. I think we talked about last year where guys really didn't seem to sell it out. And this is going to happen. You're going to go all in and you're going to get juked by that. I mean, it's tough because this is where the practice comes in, right? Somebody's going to lose the situation, and it's either there's never be two positives that come out of this. Always you try to find it, but there's going to be a growing point for somebody.
And on a play like that, you don't score a touchdown. He has to come to a complete stop, hard stop. You don't score. You make
someone's catching him.
That's a missed tackle, but you probably gonna roll out of bounds after that play. You don't really gain any more yards after that because he makes you do almost. You have to almost fly over him to stop. So I like that effort from Douglas in the pursuit. You're the last guy, the last line of defense. So I like that.
And we talk about Douglas later on having a great wrap-up tackle, which we do come back to. Now this is where I start to get excited. Again, you get a little bit, when you slow it down, you get a little bit of the combination here, right? This is Caden Daniels. You got to think this is second, third team here, right? With the running back room. Jacoby Jackson seems to be the number 2 running back, so this could be 3-4 in a sense. You got George Gums coming off the edge. You got Tyreek Sapp behind him. But this here is George Gums
George Gums, my man.
Laying it.
George Gums is a man child. As you see, Tyreek Sapp must have been some type of stunt, or maybe third down, like you said, because Sapp's coming off free. So if it's third down and then a single back and you try to do the read and Sapp's crashing down, that'll allow him to get his hand on the running back faster. Or if he did a stunt, he feels that in and he coming into the B gap, stunting it underneath. That'll allow him to get into the backfield that fast to where he could actually get a hand on this guy. But for Gums to be right there and he just crushes this guy. Wrapping up, hat placement, he folds him. Anybody else loses the ball, that's a cause fumble. You know what I mean? Hopefully that's what happens to some of the Miami guys when they try to come in there. But I love Gums wrapping up right here, being a man, making a big time tackle. I love it.
The one concern people are having is the right side of the offensive line. I can't confirm that looks like that is the right side of the offensive line. So I don't know.
But you take a look at this though. But if you go right back to the beginning, and it's a small pause. I like what I'm seeing right there. Stop.
Oh.
Right there. In that far right corner, you see who that is? That's Big Dez. That is Big Dez, and you got 2 linemen trying to block him, and he's not budging. So bad that you got 1 lineman facing the wrong direction.
That's Barber, I think.
Facing the wrong, so they had to double team Dez in this position. And Dez, being big as he is, he has a whole offensive lineman facing the wrong direction.
Right here?
Yeah. Because they trying to stay on the block with Big Dez, who's wedged in between those guys. And you know it's a double team because Barber plays center.
No, Barber plays left tackle.
I mean, he's left tackle. But he's pushed down. If you see Dez, he's on Dez, so you know they try to double team him with the guard.
Sure. With the guard, yeah. Let's go to the next clip, which we've got. This is the Sapp clip.
Yeah.
I put this clip the left side.
Yeah. Left and right. I put this. One thing about our defense, though, I know a lot of people talk about the blocking and stuff like that. We're scheming it up, and these guys, you like to say, dialing it up. We dialing it up on defense, and we're doing a lot of movement. That's part of our scheme, and just knowing the coaching that we have now, those guys can expand that playbook a lot more. So on this play, you got to know that Sapp did a stunt move to get inside. Clearly, he beat his man here, getting across his face, and he's in the backfield. That's a tackle for a loss. Anytime you get the defender on the running back like that, as soon as you get the ball, it's awesome from the defense. But that's just from pure doing the stunt. And just Sapp's body control coming under to make the play. He's not out of control, so that lets you know that his footwork and everything doing the stunt was perfect. He took the right steps. On here, it looked like he would have been slanting this side to the left. So I could tell clearly he stepped with his left foot first. He didn't cross over himself. Otherwise, you can't get up into the lane, the rushing lane. You take the wrong step, they'll just wash you down. You take the right step, you can come up in that rushing lane with power and be able to make that play on that running back and still be able to wrap him up.
When you're whiffing, we talked about before.
Yeah, when you're whiffing on tackles like that, it's start with technique. If you're not doing the right technique from the beginning of the play, that's when you get washed down and you're out of position. But when you can see his pad level like that in the backfield and he's under control and he has the chance to wrap up the running back, that lets you know that he did the right technique on that stunt. And that's what gives me problems, just looking at stuff like that.
Hey, real quick, Daniel Riviera says this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. So, Daniel, you say some dumb shit on here like 90% of the time, and I usually just let it slide, but this is probably the dumbest shit you probably said, because this young man here played for the 2006 national championship team. So he played the spot at a high level, something that you're unaware of. So, again, I don't know what you're looking for in credentials, but that's usually a pretty good one to start off with, not to mention he's a coach now. So, yeah, no, I appreciate your thoughts, though, Daniel. It's okay to look stupid every now and then, but all the time it starts to get a little exhausting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a lot of smart, dumb people in the world.
Yeah, there is. There is. All right, what we got here? This is the...
Yeah, it's another play with Gomes here. He's playing over the tight end. So his gap, just him being able to shed the tackle. You got Livingston on him. He's able to close off his gap and still get outside and help Bridges make the tackle. Just showing Gomes being versatile. You can see him extended his arm to shed the play to get outside to help Bridges make the play. You know he's helping somebody because you got two people in one gap. You never should have two people that clear the gap. Obviously, Bridges is coming down in the box. And I like this. It just goes to show more about the defensive scheme and what they're thinking about doing. Seeing Bridges in the box around the line of scrimmage, tackling the running back one-on-one, that lets you know that he's going to be playing more in the box for us. He's going to be that bigger defensive back. Say we go on the 4-2-5, he'll be that defensive back that'll come down in the box and help us like a linebacker. So that's just more evidence of it. Seeing him close to the line right here, making the play. And then because you got Gomes on the tight end, so it lets you know the box is right here. So
yeah, Livingston is we were looking
for the guy who don't know football, trying to explain it to you.
I appreciate it. Livingston is he's a junior, but he's a redshirt sophomore. So he's again obviously on that lower total poll with Boardingham and Hanson, guys like that. So look, I mean that's great. I mean, for what we could get from the scrimmage, again, people were not allowed into the game. This is where a lot of this kind of got stirred up too, because look, all what we got, even from Zach on Saturday, was just secondhand. It's from other people watching. So it was actually kind of crazy, just the noise that was being spewed out and what people were hearing. Like everyone's going to have a different view on it, a different opinion about it. We're trying to look. We as fans, we want everything. We want to get as much as we possibly can. So we're going to try to gather what we can and get our, take our opinion about it. And so this is where I want to talk to you a little bit. But let's play this clip of Billy where he kind of explains his outlook on the offense. I think it's very interesting. Then we'll talk a little bit more because I want to kind of talk to you about the expectation of where the team should be at this time. So let's play the clip and then we'll go.
Number. We got really good work in the kicking game too in all 6 phases. I think offensively we want to try to create more explosive plays. We want to do a better job on conversion downs. And I think the tempo needs to pick up a little bit. We need to improve in our 2-minute operation. And then defensively, a lot of plays where we got 10 right and 1 wrong, where, the good teams that we play will expose that, right? So consistency is what we're looking for. The tackling was good outside of a handful of plays, and I think those proved to be costly. So we've got to continue. If we want to have a good football team, we've got to be a really good tackling team.
You're not in this one. We'll get to tackling. We'll cover that one separately here in just a minute. But I loved hearing Billy talk about explosiveness and offense in the same sentence, and then having more of a tempo and more urgency, he said, on 2-minute warning, which is something that I had a huge issue with last year. So again, and I always kind of try to judge his demeanor through these pressers. He felt again when he was saying these things, when he told the tackling number, which was 20 missed tackles out of 122 that people just ran with, and we'll break that number down in just a moment. It didn't seem like in a sense of worry. It was simply like, hey, here's where we're at. These are the things that we noticed and what we're looking to make progress with. But it was great to hear about the offense. The one thing I do have a critique on is nobody asked about the offensive line, which obviously was a big piece of conversation of where is it? We haven't had much of it through the first 6 practices, much clips, how they're producing. But then we get clips of Treon Webb and Jaden Ball and Kane Daniels, and we hear about them breaking through gaps and doing these things. Is that, what's causing that to be? Is it the O-line performing better? Is it just the running backs? Like, we don't know. That's kind of where we're at with it. But I wanted to get your thoughts because everybody's talking about like, hey, the line isn't where it should be. A lot of the conversation is Crenshaw isn't football ready like we would hope him to be. What is the expectation, for that first 1 week and 2 weeks of fall camp? Because think about it, these guys haven't played since spring, which is April, right? They've just been working out for the last few months, but real football since last November. I mean, practice, yeah, but real football since last November, and I think this is going to be the closest it's probably been in a very long time. So where should they be?
Well, when it comes to the offensive line right now, coming into camp and coming out of camp, it's not going to look good. It shouldn't look good. If it looks good, that means your defense is sorry. Offense is always the last thing to kind of get clicking as camp moves on. It's not really until that final week or in most cases, the final couple of days where the offense runs smoothly. The defense just always has the advantage. And any smart coach is going to set up those advantages to put your guys in tough situations to see how they respond. We don't go into camp trying to work on your strengths. You go trying to work on your weaknesses.
Okay.
You're gonna see some of the flaws. That way you can address it, and you're gonna make sure your team is in situations that are unfavorable for them to address those things. And so I think with that in mind, I think they're doing a great job with that. Even with the missed tackles, I believe in his demeanor when he said it. They need these tackles have to be made because you're going to be put in those situations going against great teams. But we're forcing those situations. We're forcing those matchups where we're getting the ball into the running back hands and he's one-on-one with a defensive back. You know what I mean? Or you get in those plays where you get a guy like Tank Davis matched up on a guy wearing man and you put him in motion and that brings that smaller guy into the box and now he has to make a tackle on the running back. You want those situations, and we have some big, strong backs and stuff like that. So we're challenging them and putting them in those situations. They in the plays that he would have liked to see them make, they probably didn't grade out as great as he would have. But then again, like I said, you're putting them in those situations. It's not forced. So throughout a total of a game, it's different. You know what I mean?
Two things. We talked a little bit about this in spring game. I remember with DJ Lagway, and I'll get into that in a moment. But it's kind of what you're hoping to have happen is both sides play it perfectly to where you kind of squeeze to a fine point and you're kind of set on player, and whoever makes the play happen, right? You want the defense to do everything right, the offense to do everything right, which you're forcing, again, the perfect situation to have happen, which doesn't always happen. But when you're playing against each other, it's like playing chess, and you're playing against your own brain. So, again, we could just be we still don't know the level of where we're at, but for when we're trying to take numbers out of this, it's like we're not. If we have 100% tackle rate, then we're gonna go. We got no weapons on offense? We got nobody doing anything. Yeah. We talked about it in the spring game. I remember it very vividly because for the first few practices, DJ struggled through some picks, put into a situation, and you brought up like, look, I've got to believe that they're putting him in the worst situation possible to make a mistake, to where he has to be so damn perfect that he does not make a mistake. And now we're hearing he still looks raw, but the progress he has made has been tremendous. And you got to think they go back to those moments of like, look, it's because he had this adversity very early on and was forced to be so uncomfortable so soon that he was able to learn from it and be able to grow from it very quickly. So like you just said, it's practice. In a way, now we shouldn't suck, but we should be coming back going, all right, we found the crack. Because if everything goes smoothly, it's like then we're not pushing each other.
Right. And then, every missed tackle, it depends on how bad it was missed. If you made him struggle, but he still broke the tackle, it's still a missed tackle, but he made a stumble for 3-4 yards. You know what I mean? But what I like what Napier was saying about when you have 10 guys in the right spot, and maybe that one guy's not in the right spot, and it can cost you when you're playing those big teams, and it's a true statement. But I like the fact that it's 10 guys in the right spot. You can correct that one guy. It's easier to coach when you got one guy out of spot versus last year. What I was saying, it just looked like the units were on different pages, where I couldn't tell if the D-line was doing the right thing or the linebackers were doing the right thing, or who was wrong for the unit. Now when you can see, okay, it's just this one guy who didn't fit right, you can coach that up. You know what I mean? You need all 11 guys doing their job. Everybody has an assignment, and you're supposed to do your job. our saying when we lined up for defense alignment, what's your alignment, what's your assignment, and what's your technique to get it done. And then for 4 to 6 seconds, relentless effort, and you have no problem. So you get down, what's your alignment, what's your assignment, what technique gets that job done, and you do your job, and everybody will be fine. And so when you can look at it like from that perspective, and coach can say, okay, I had 10 guys, hey, you didn't get your fit, but he can point on film and show him everybody else getting their fit, and if you just do your job, we'll be fine. That makes coaching a lot easier.
You fire me up, Mr. Harris. We've got a super chat from Austin Taylor. It says $2. Says Steve, mother effing Harris is him. I love it, man. I love it. 266 strong, boys and girls. Smash the button and subscribe. Let's play this last clip here of him speaking of Mr. Daniels and about him reading. This is him describing it. Again, just to get the vision of these young guys, these young backs, and hearing how they're developing. Again, we're excited about the room. My concern isn't about their upside or their ability. I think it's going to be a fantastic room. It's just simply the presence in that backfield come game time. How do we know if Murch trusts him to block certain things? But that's just hear what he had to say.
Yeah.
But, they're just a lot bigger and a lot faster, and the holes are a lot smaller, right? So, KD, there's some specific play, in the scrimmage where we check a split zone concept away from a pressure, and here it goes. And just to see him, that thing just opened up just a little bit, right? And his ability, I could see him. He saw it, and he accelerated, and almost went to the house. We've got to block a little bit better on the perimeter. But, that's a good example. That group's coming along.
There's a couple of mom jokes in there that I had to withhold. So Billy over here talking about holes, little holes, and come on, Billy. You saw in his head too. He wanted to say like I was with your mom last night. I'm telling you, Billy thought of it. Billy thought about it. I don't believe that he did. But look, I love hearing that. Again, that's just there's an excitement in his voice talking about these guys and them learning and them just growing in the offense. And again, this is Caden Daniels. This is third string, fourth string running back. Go ahead.
Right, and that's him just explaining. Younger guys, when he's saying they're bigger, fast, strong, he's talking about the defenders and that the holes are not going to be that big that you get, and you got to just trust that they're going to be there. And most of the times, you get a young back that just fast. He's going to when he doesn't see a hole, he's more likely to try to bounce it out. And Billy, him being a running back guy from all the work that he's done and liking the run game, him seeing that hole, he was acting like he was running the play with the guy, knowing that he should stay on that gap. And that's just a testament to the young guy trusting himself and believing that this guy is going to do what they need to do and hitting the small gaps, because it's not high school anymore. It's just like the quarterback. You can't wait for the guy to be open. You got to throw him open. So if you're waiting to see if a receiver is open, you're probably going to throw an interception. So same thing with these running backs. You got to stay the course and trust that the hole is going to be there instead of trying to bounce everything and run around when you don't kind of know what's going on, or you kind of look, I'm not saying scared, but these guys are big coming at you. So
they are big. And I hear you see guys in the chat talking about the linebacker room. What was said about the linebacker room is they didn't do anything flashy, right, to kind of go, wow, that was awesome. But they didn't do anything to lose the game either, right? It was just there's nothing wrong with it. They didn't do anything wrong. They just did their job. Which, look, I could be wrong here, but look, I think some of the best linebacker rooms are the ones that you don't talk about too much, just because they do their job so well that it just okay, cool. They did it. But that's how well they're doing, is that they're getting the job done and nobody's making a big freak out of it. Look, we've been pumped about Ventrell Miller. That's just because he was just a one-man band back there and had to make all the damn plays. So we were like, Ventrell's the guy. But when you've got a good linebacker room, ideally you shouldn't really see them too much. You see them, but you shouldn't be getting too fired up about them.
Yeah. No, this defense is going to allow the guys to make the play that's supposed to make the play. Everybody do their job, and it's going to be multiple guys making plays. We're not scheming to have one guy be the savior of the defense. Some teams funnel plays to where this one person is going to be the guy to make the play. We're not doing that. We're trying to play football the right way, and the person that's supposed to make the tackle make the tackle. We're not trying to scheme to have, okay, this guy, I need you to not block his back in this way to make it come to this guy to make the play. No, we're not doing that. And we want to have multiple fronts Austin Armstrong said it all the time. He wants to be able to play multiple fronts, and we have multiple pieces to do that. So guys are going to be making plays everywhere. Well, I believe you'll start to see linebacker getting highlights is when we're scheming stuff up or dialing stuff up on third downs and designer packages where it's more one-on-one with the running back, and they're able to use their speed to blow stuff up on screen plays and stuff like that, or dropping into coverages and getting those interceptions. But just on the daily, regular play, first, second down, whoever's supposed to make the play is going to make the play.
Look, a lot of great stuff. The O-line's being talked about a lot as well, too, which we'll get into. I do want to get into the tackle drama that was happening. But before we get into that, boys and girls, let's go ahead and give a shout-out to our sponsors. We are powered by BetUS, and we've got this incredible graphic here. Okay, use the link in the description below. First 3 deposits, you get back 125% up to $2,000 that you put in. And to make the playoffs for the Florida Gators is plus 2,000.
Oh, man.
I like 50 bones on this. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, yeah.
Because, look, I mean, we've talked about it. I know people have their ceilings and their floors and whatnot, but I think 8-4, that's my floor, by the way, boys. 8-4 is a playoff notch. So if we put it in that, if you think about it like that plus 2,000, that's...
It's definitely looking worth it to me, man. I like us, man. I like us to shock a lot of people this year, man. We got hell of depth.
So you're putting 100 on plus 2,000 is what you're telling me. That's what you're going to use the link in the description and we use plus 2,000. I got you. I listen. I feel
you
feeling
good about it. Extra zero. Might have to add an extra zero.
I love it. I love it. We'll give a shout out to our sponsors, BetUS. Now let's play his talk about what he says about tackle, and then we're going to read the tweet that sent the world through an absolute tensy here. It's a good one.
I think those proved to be costly, so we've got to continue. If we want to have a good football team, we've got to be a really good tackling team. But the effort and the pursuit was good, and overall the film was really clean on all parts of the team. And I think that between play process, it's one thing to practice, it's another thing to play the game. You know, I think special teams, our coverage units need to improve. But overall, man, really good day. We did have one injury of note,
which we talked about. But look, overall, good day, like he said. So what sent this whole tackling thing into a whole just out of this world was Nick Marcinko tweeted. Napier, he just tweeted what Napier said, simply just reporting the news. Missed 20 tackles and 122 snaps. Says the missed tackles are very correctable. So Cody, I'm calling Cody out because he started the fire in the Discord. And I was like, okay, hold on. Let's take in like 20 tackles. Let's take in consideration of 122 snaps. That's about 16% of the snaps. This is equivalent to 2 games, mind you. 122 snaps is the equivalent to 2 games. I looked up the average missed tackles last year in college football is 15%. So for 2 games, we were just above the average of missed tackles. What also isn't taken into consideration, like we were talking before the show, is there's third string, there's second. Like, we don't know who missed these tackles. We don't know, like you were saying, the alignment. Maybe it was forced to be. The odds of a missed tackle increase greatly, right? Like, it's not like he was just running, they just slipped off of him. Kind of like there's so many missed details.
We seen Trey Wilson do this super amazing spin move. That was a missed tackle. I mean,
we saw 2. We saw one with Trey on and one with Eugene. Like, okay, I'm cool with those 2. Like, that's fine. So let's call 18 out of 122.
Knock those 2 off the board. I mean.
So he even said, look, it's 20 missed tackles and 122 snaps, which is 2 full games worth. 10 missed tackles a game is not a bad starting point for the scrimmage and fall camp. That's what about Florida averaged last season. The Gators had 6 games with more than 10 missed tackles last season, including highs of 15 and 17 for a single game, which, again, this snap count is for 2 games total. We also don't know whether missed tackles came from the first, second, or third team. So there's a lot of details there that we obviously do not know. And again, I don't think Billy said it in a sense of a fear. I think he kind of sent it in a sense of confidence, in my opinion, because why throw that number out there? if you know this fan base, I don't think this number was meant to be stated for people to lose their mind. I don't think people comprehended, though, exactly what he said.
Yeah, I don't think Billy's thinking about them at all when he's saying. I think he's thinking more of the lines of talking to his team. One missed tackle is too much for a coach. We should be making every tackle. And so he's just addressing the fact that we missed a few tackles. Tackling was poor. last year, and so he's going to talk about it. And it should be we should always be talking about missed tackles. We should never want any missed tackles. So I just think he's just addressing it and making sure it's in the forefront of everybody's mind that we will tackle better this year. And it won't be a practice that is not addressed. We're talking about it before practice and after practice, and in between practice, how many tackles we already missed. So, and I believe in the middle of the scrimmage, he probably like, hey, we got 5 missed tackles. You know what I mean? Letting them know where we're at on the tally. And I think that would be smart to do that every practice.
Rob S says it's the first scrimmage, and it is, right? I think at work we where I work, we're a sales company. We have to try to explain to people and help them put them into a better situation. And sometimes you can over-explain to where it hurts you, to where you say so much that you put the other person into a blender. And I feel like in this world of information, and sometimes we as fans may get a little bit too much information that we put ourselves into a blender. But we also want to know what's going on, right? We like to know what's happening. We like to be able to tell lies and talk about it. So you've got to be able to manage this do-si-do. Look, I always get labeled with Sunshine Pumper for whatever reason. I don't know why. But it's just you have to carry with this with a certain perspective. It's very easy to look at this and just basically have a cloud over you. It's like the sad character from the Disney movie, right? Like everything is just miserable. Like, sorry. Like that's how some of these Gator fans act with this. It's like, dude, not everything is meant to be horrendous news. It's
you
a
gotta
starting
think about
point.
it. Like what if we, like you said, if we tackled everybody, we say, man, we can't break tackles. Sometimes you got to give credit to the other side. I just hope we're just that great that we're able to break 10 tackles. But on anybody else, we breaking 10 necks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it lands on the other side. And look, not the rest of the teams don't have the incredible wide receiver core, running back core like we do. So they're going up against the best of the best. What do you want them to do?
Yeah.
Dave even says our top 4 missed tackle leaders have all transferred. So we've got that going for us. We're already ahead of the game from last year.
We're just that good on the offense. Trust me. Anybody else is 10 broken necks versus 10 broken tackles.
So I feel like every couple days we get a new player that's on the players watch list. Somebody who's turning some heads. Yeah, Castell and Turner were kind of who we talked about from Zach. That was what he was excited about. That secondary, which excites me. George Gums is somebody who I've been excited for. The linebacker room got all of its excitement the first 2 days. But after scrimmage 1, the names that were brought up, that have been being brought up, Hawkins obviously getting 2 touchdowns from DJ Lagway, looks to be a legitimate threat. Ton of speed there. I think he's either the fastest or the second fastest guy on the football field. And again, the wide receiver room, which is we were all kind of like so about, I think we're the most excited to see now, which fires everybody up. And look, there was a guy on the On 3 show I was watching it. Dave sent it to me. I know it was a Texas channel. Dom said, he goes, look, if Florida can open up the passing game, the rest of the country needs to be a little bit worried because that was something we lacked in last year. When you start hearing about the guys that are popping off, those excite you now. This is a little bit of a negative, a little here. A. Mazzell was popping off last spring. We never saw the man touch the football field. So I'm going to hold Billy accountable of like, hey, you got to put this man to the football field. Second being running back Jacoby Jackson, 220 is the number coming out of camp. Somebody that's, again, a JUCO transfer that was brought in. Said, look, when we brought him in, obviously big risk, not quite sure. He said, go look at the film. We trusted our evaluation, and he's proven that our evaluation is right. Billy had a lot of great things to say about him, and he's definitely a name that has worked himself up in the ranks with the injury of Montrell Johnson. These freshman running backs are exciting, but basically, hey, don't sleep on Jacoby. He brings a punch to this running back room that I think we're going to be surprised to see about. And the other one's going to be Caden Jones, which is going to fill into that right side of the offensive line that everybody's panicking about. Caden Jones is somebody that we're hoping to take that next leap. Was a freshman last year, big-time 4-star recruit 2 years ago. So somebody that I expect to see for good reason, hopefully not because Crenshaw's not stepping up. Crenshaw, again, transfers from San Diego State. If the vibe for the right tackle or the right side position, Damian George we kind of expect. I find it strange that Damian is having trouble because you and I both talked about, felt like he looked good at right guard, heard a lot of good news about him doing a lot of work on this offseason. Crenshaw was brought in, again, from the transfer portal. This was somebody that we brought in. Dev Manuel as well, too. And if he's struggling, like where are we losing out on the evaluation would be my question. That's we don't know yet. I could be jumping the bones here, but.
I'm not sure if we actually struggling. I just believe it's more along the lines of everybody's pushing everybody. I reached out to the young man and spoke with him, and he assured me that he's gonna hold it down this year. You
Who'd
know
you
what I
who'd
mean?
you reach out to?
I got George.
Oh,
I'm in
okay.
his ear. Yeah, I'm in his ear, man. I'm in everybody's ear. You know what I mean? I believe in building people up. You know what I mean, and giving them that fire. So he assured me that he's going out there giving it his all. So I believe it's going to work out well for him. Whenever you got guys responding and taking ownership of getting better and not running away from it, and addressing the issue and willing to talk about it, I believe you get better like that. And so I believe he's taking ownership of that and responsibility for some of the mess ups and mishaps last year and has a chip on his shoulder. So I think it's going to work out great. If we're so high on our defensive line, when you see him, I don't even know where they're seeing it from, but they're hearing different plays. People don't really know how to watch the offensive and defensive line. You guys don't know nothing about that. Y'all more so want to see people run and catch and stuff like that. So you got to have real insiders, real people that know the position doing these evaluations. And it's not the prettiest position. It doesn't get all the glitz and glamours. You guys just want to see people break runs and run through holes, but don't really know what it takes to get through there. So what I see from him, I know he can get it done. And what I'm hearing from him, from talking to him, I believe he's going to get it done, and he's taking ownership of that. So we can count on that, a guy that's taking ownership of it and is willing to put the work in. So that's important.
Agree. I think it speaks volumes. Again, the transformation he's made this offseason shows the commitment. And there was an interview with Graham Mertz before on Paul Feinbaum that dropped just today about saying, look, we love each other. We're bought in as a family. We want to do this for each other. Even Billy said when Jamar Lions went down with a broken ankle, he goes, I've never seen this before at any football team I've ever coached. But all 100+ guys kind of gathered around and we're shooken up by the event. And that's something, look, that's not an excuse, but take that into consideration. It's your first practice, you're fired up, you're hyped up, and one of your leaders, one of the guys that you love, that you've been sweating blood, sweat, and tears for the last 6 months during this, season, during this off camp, snaps. It sounded pretty gruesome. That could kind of put a little bit of a damper on the whole day very quickly. I mean, I'm sure you went through those things.
Yeah, and he had to kind of stop himself of saying that it was kind of I don't want to say celebratory or that these guys took it as motivation. That just lets you know that these guys are totally brought in and they believe in what he was going to help them bring to the table, and they're going to carry out that vision. That they're not going to drop the axe or the hammer. That they're going to go out there and play for him. You know what I mean? And so that is a lot of motivation. But for those guys to be brought in like that at this level, just telling him, hey, don't worry about it, we're going to go win for you. You know what I mean? It's probably, I won't stop short of saying, hey, they saying we finna go win the championship for you. You know what I mean? And so that type of motivation, it means a lot. And that just let me know the guys are really, really brought in. And you want to hear that. I know it just from talking to them all, feeling the energy. You had to have been there to know. And I could feel it, and it's all on those guys. They're not just talking just to talk. They don't have talking points where they're saying, hey, make sure you say this to the media. These guys really believe in what's going on. And
you're not coaching these guys to come out there. That's a genuine response. You can't force those guys to say those things or coach them. That's coming from the heart.
It sounds like it because it's repetitive, but that's
really how committed they are.
This is the temperature of the program right now. These guys believe in each other.
I love it, boys. 317 strong. Only 71 likes. Smash the like button and subscribe. There was my favorite question. I think it was from Nick. Nick Del Toro. He asked, hey, this is your third scrimmage in fall camp, your third year of scrimmage. How do you compare it to the other 2 years? So we're going to go over that here in just a moment. Before we do that, give a shout out to another one of our sponsors. We're doubling up here, boys and girls. No need to yell at me. We got BetterHelp for the rest of the week. So we got to show them some love. Again, we are brought to you by BetterHelp. And if you're looking to get your year started, look, life's going by so fast. You want to make a quick change to your year. Have something to celebrate your wins. Make adjustments for the rest of the year. Take some stock of your progress and set achievable goals. BetterHelp is the place for you. If you're been thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designated to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. You take a little bit of a quiz like this one here. Based on your answers, gives you a therapist based on you. And if you don't like that therapist, you can switch it out. We can't switch our coach, but you can switch your therapist at no cost. So if you guys want to check that out, check out the link in the description, betterhelp.com/hightop to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/hightop. Now, let's take a look at this little graphic that I've got pulled up here. So obviously year 1, 6-7, Anthony Richardson at quarterback. Year 2, 5-7, 2023 with Graham Mertz at quarterback. Now we're headed into 2024, his third year of scrimmage. And of course, I mean, the answer, what do you think he's going to say? Says, faster. These were his words. These were adjectives. Faster, cleaner, intense. And look, the first and second team, because he talked about how we mix it up a little bit, is good football. So you love hearing faster, cleaner, more intense, more designated assignments, things like that. So more depth obviously has been the biggest avenue of this entire thing. But first and second is good football, clean football. He felt like that during his presser, that it was clean.
Yeah. No, I agree. You got guys that are brought into the program and from all accounts, living the right way and doing the right things. So you're going to get a lot cleaner football, a lot more attention to detail. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but one thing I do like when they talked about the headset thing. I don't know if you plan to talk about that. Did you? About the headset?
So we've talked. So look, let's talk about it because you played in a game without it, and I think we talked a little bit last week because Ron Roberts talked about how it impacts the defense, and we hadn't really thought how it impacts the defense. But yeah, let's go ahead. Give me your thoughts. Shoot.
I think Billy Napier really liked it, and that's going to help. Like when it says faster, cleaner football, that communication going in is going to help with that. It's almost like playing a video game, and he said it in the press conference. It's almost like playing a video game, but real players out there running the plays. So he'll have that perspective.
You can dial it up, as Cody would say.
Yeah, I think he really, really likes that. I think that gives him a comfort level going into this year, and especially having Lagway, I believe is going to be more like a secret weapon for us. The way he kind of said it, being able to coach him through things, like he said, the curve is faster for him. He said he liked it to almost having to learn sign language for Lagway as far as getting the signals and stuff in like that. But if you could call that into him, you can use them faster. It just makes them a lot more comfortable. And you have a dual threat quarterback that you can get that information to early means a lot. And he said it works both the same on defense. And just the way he said it, I believe he's really liking how he's going to be able to use that. And I think he has Lagway in mind for that. But that just goes to, like you said, cleaner football. If you can communicate with your quarterback faster, it's gonna help everybody else out. And just having those guys on the same level, being a more disciplined team, should stop a lot of the false starts and stuff like that.
I think it could.
I do know he said he wanted cleaned up. He wanted cleaned up in between the plays. Getting back to the next play,
moving faster, moving on faster.
Yeah, just not a lot of gagging around a little bit. You know what I mean? Just being dialed in as if it's the game. And so I think that'll come by next scrimmage this weekend. I think all that'll be cleaned up.
I believe it's going to lead to higher scoring games.
It'll be like the video game. It's going to be like the video game, man.
Because you're able to, hurry things up a little bit, and you see the defense, and you're able to look. You have audibles now, but you kind of rely on the quarterback. He can only see so much. You got the guy up in the box that sees everything, and now the defense is trying to maybe make an adjustment or having to kind of make it on the fly. We've got to kind of highly anticipate some high scoring games. This is a good question. Muddy says he's not a question, more of a statement, but I'm turning it into a question. Says he's more worried about Miami's offensive line and running back room, not Ward. And when you think about last year, look, he's got a point because think about the teams that tore us up. Kentucky, Ray Davis.
Yeah.
Arkansas, KJ Jefferson, running the ball, not throwing the ball. LSU, Jaden Daniels, running the ball. A little bit of throwing, but mainly running the ball with over 500 yards, just total offense. Who else ran all over us? Mizzou had success running the ball. So we struggled with stopping the run on defense. So that is going to be a big component, I think. And look, what do you think was the concern, and do we feel we've replaced that this year or fixing that?
I definitely believe we fixed that. It wasn't like we were getting thrown around or just overpowered it was really run fits for us. Where we were we in the right position? Were we flowing the right way from the linebacker position to make those plays? Because like again, we're asking on some plays for our guys up front to two gap. So you have to make sure you're being patient as a linebacker and flowing to the right gaps. And I think having Ron Roberts, someone like that kind of knows how to play in that system, it was going to pay dividends for us, translating that to the linebackers. And then we got extra athletic linebackers right now that are fast and can cover a lot of ground. So I think everybody just being on the same page is what's most important. Because that Kentucky game, it wasn't that they just were overpowering us, but the guy put his foot in the ground and it doesn't get touched and he's running for 60 yards. It's not that they're pounding us in the ground, getting 4 or 5 yards a run because they're just
big
overpowering us and running us over. It's a guy, they running right. Then he put his foot in the ground. He's out the back door for 70 yards because we're not playing assignment football or we're trying to overcompensate because nobody trusts or believes in one another. When you got a defense that believes in one another, everybody has a gap. Every gap is accounted for. If everybody's in their gap or doing their job, playing it how they should, then you don't have those problems. And most of our problems with the run were just communication and not filling the gaps correctly.
And again, a part of that, for those 4 people that were on the tackle list, I think Miguel's on that. There was again the safety, that our safety position struggled a little bit. So if those gaps do get missed, we don't have a strong safety able to come in and make tackles. We're hearing that Asa Turner can. So hopefully those things are addressed because that was a massive concern last year for us. Again, Tennessee, we had much success. They didn't run the ball well on us, and they for sure as hell couldn't throw it on us. But if you just kind of kept it low and ran it on us, we seemed to struggle with it. So definitely something to kind of keep an eye on. Clint says, hey, please make this an episode on the podcast. I was late, and I will just restart. It 100% will be. Every show on Monday is now on the podcast. I try to upload. I don't think I may have missed one, but I upload every show on the podcast if you guys want to just listen to it as well. So
appreciate it, Clint.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys' support as always, showing some love.
Smash the like button.
Yeah, what are we doing here, boys? What are we doing here? All right, so real quick,
you got to exit the chat. You have to exit. If you're in the chat, you have to exit the chat so you can hit the like button and subscribe and just come right back in the chat.
I love it. I love how Coach Steve here got to coach him up. Look, boys. So we always.
I don't know what I be talking about though. I don't be knowing.
No. He left. I didn't see any more comments. Like he says dumb shit. And I kind of just let it go. Like, come on, dude. You're just being disrespectful at this point. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's fine. You can say that I don't. But so we obviously have the Beat Miami shirts going on right now. I think we're on the I don't want to say final days, but I don't want you to order and not have it. So I would say the 15th is probably the last day I would order it. It's about 8 to 9 days out. And they get that just being extra safe. You want to play with fire, you can order whenever you want. I don't care.
Yeah, or just have it for keepsake. I may sign it.
Doesn't go old. There's no date on it.
Yeah.
So so my next thing was I'm like, hey, I want to make more shirts throughout the year. It's it takes about a week or so to get them. So look, we're not gonna do Samford, obviously. A&M didn't feel that one either. Mississippi State's away, so I was like, hey, we're not gonna touch that game. Tennessee is also away. So I was like, let's not touch that game this year. We'll come back next year. So then the next UCF, we don't play them enough because my thing is I want the shirt to last. One shirt you can wear. So with all that rambling going on, the next shirt we have lined up, and it's showing this is so far away. But again, it takes time. I want you to put your pennies away in case you guys want to get in on it. Is our Beat Kentucky shirt.
Oh,
and we didn't break any rules here. I'll make it nice and big so you guys can see it. Yeah. I'm proud of this one, boys. This one's clean.
It says, beat the fatbacks, Jared Lorenzas.
So if you guys want to get that, obviously go to Beat Kentucky shirt, High Top Sport, no S, we couldn't afford it, .com. So again, I know you guys enjoyed the Beat Miami shirts. I love these shirts. I love the old style shirts, and I will continue to make them. Beat Georgia will probably be on the list. I'm thinking LSU, and probably wrap it up with FSU. Those are going to be
we got to have the Kentucky, man. They've been getting on my nerves, kid. Oh my God.
Yeah, and look, I did it on orange and cream because obviously we can't do blue. That's always a big deal. So I figure we'll do that, and we'll have some more.
Yeah, Kentucky always that pesky team, man. That just. And then they can ruin your season. Like losing to them just ruins your season. Just morally you just feel Kentucky. So yeah, we'll make sure we smash them.
We do need to beat them. I never get love. Hold on, my fault. Neil Whitehead. I've said hey to you. I never get love. I'm from Alabama and I live in Tennessee.
Oh,
But
you
I'm a
from
diehard Gator.
Alabama? Go Gators. Ain't you live in Tennessee? Yeah, Neil. Go Gators, baby. Yeah, you out there. They may run you down out there trying to represent the Gators.
Says, let's get it here, boys. More trash talk. He goes, I do more trash talk than anybody. Brennan, $5 says, new rule. We don't spell Cody's name with a K until we beat Kentucky. Book it. Fair enough. Or until Cody beats me in NCAA.
Yeah. Well, we may never spell the name right.
Cody stayed taking straights. He's probably going, I'm not even in here. And he's in
Cody,
here.
you better be dialing it up.
Yeah, for real. Let me see the chat here. Kind of say hey to everybody before we go. We kind of like we do on Wednesday's show. Again, I said on Twitter, man, this Monday show is giving Wednesday show best day of the week. A little run for its money. Telling you,
a little warm up.
Little warm up for the week.
Yeah.
Show what's the front going to look like. It's just going to be that same logo, just smaller on the patch right here. So I could do beat Kentucky and big, I guess. That might be something I can maybe think of.
No, we got to leave room for all the signatures you're going to get from the players.
Oh, that's true. I guess I could start doing that. I mean, that's a thought, just having beat Kentucky. I like simple. I like the clean, simple, and then kind of big on the back. I know that everybody likes that. But,
hey, submit your design idea to Hot Top Sport.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Second established day of the week, baby. Yeah, second. They got you in second right now, Steve. So we got to make a run. Mondays has got to be a run to be the best day of the week.
You already know.
I love it. Well, guys, I appreciate your I just shrunk myself. Honey, I shrunk the kids. Boys and girls, I love you as always. I appreciate you always tuning in, showing support every damn day of the week, it feels like. I mean, at this point, what day are we not live? You know what I mean? We got Monday. We have our show Mondays. We have our show on Wednesdays. During the season, there's going to be shows Saturday and Sunday. Fridays, we've been playing NCAA, which has been fun. Dom says you suck at NCAA, but Dom won't take the sticks. Dom won't step in.
Don't ask me no questions about it. I don't want nothing to do with it.
And Adam Miller celebrates 7 months of membership. New Blackstone incoming. Let's go season. Oh, hell yeah, man.
Congrats, Adam. Congrats.
Yeah, Dalton, it's small logo. Simple. Yep, small logo. Just like to Beat Miami. It's the exact same as Beat Miami if you haven't seen that. Take a look on the website. You'll see the front of the website if you guys want to go check it out. But we love you. We appreciate you, boys. As always, so be good, be safe. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll be right back at it again on Wednesday. I'm sure we'll have some more crazy shit to yell at each other about. I'm Shelton. That's Stephen Harris, boys and girls. Until next time, peace and love.
Yes, sir.